Well, hey folks, here we are again. Good day to you all. Whoever you may be, wherever you may be, and all that shit, yada yada. Breaking news. There is no breaking news. I suppose I was going to make this video about the idea that breaking news is one of those terms that you consistently hear now. And it all started about, I think it started around the OJ Simpson trial. And this is when the media really started to go crazy. This is when there was constant coverage. And the OJ thing went on forever. Back then I was into some partying times. And we used to go to our dealer's house. And our dealer was this like 36-year-old guy that lived with his mom. And such a loser. I couldn't even believe we hung out, but we had to in order to get what we wanted, right? So we go over to his house one time, and he's got like, I won't even get into the details, but let's just say his mom, she was in her like late 70s, and she just sat there in her bathrobe all day long and watched the OJ Simpson trial. Consistently, every single day, for the whole time. I can honestly say I don't think I watched even a minute of it, but I was like, what, 19 or 20 or something? I don't even know. But my point here is that from that point on, the media has just been absolutely ridiculous. To the point where I'd say, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago when we decided to finally just cancel cable, which up until that point everyone had cable for whatever reason. And I was like, I hate commercials. I hate the news. Why do we even have cable? And of course the internet made it easier to watch things by that point. But then we got to where we are today, where we can watch shows pretty much anywhere, so it's pointless. But today, there are still people who have cable and watch network news, whether it be Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and it's all complete trash. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't good journalists out there, because unfortunately there are a few good journalists that get wrapped up with all the bullshit that their network is involved in. People who want to report on certain things but aren't allowed to. I mean, if you look into who owns the media empires and what they allow to get out and what they allow their journalists to talk about, I mean, it's not some grand conspiracy. It's just the truth. It's the facts. There are people who are not allowed to talk about certain subjects. I wanted to wait until my neighbor was done mowing his lawn before I made a video, but I should have. My thought was he's probably going to end up using a weed eater right after that, so it makes me want to move indoors, but I'm not going to. I guess I'll just make this short. If you're still watching the media, all you're getting is opinions. You're getting propaganda, and you are getting whatever they would consider breaking news, which is basically the banner across the screen every 5 minutes. It's like, breaking news, the same old thing happened that's been happening for years. And we're so caught up in this outrage culture, this anger culture, as well as this, social justice culture on the other side. I'm more than willing to say that it's not an issue of left and right. As I've mentioned this before, I say that both sides are, messed up. It's not that. It's the extreme fringe left and the fringe right. The ones who make everybody look bad, Not every liberal is out there screaming on the street corner, but not every conservative is out there screaming and shooting guns either, right? I mean, we got to get past this stereotyping that we have and realize that the media is only there to fulfill the role of, what would I call it, the arbitrator of emotion, right? I mean, you're having a fine day, then you turn on the news and you see something that somebody said. Maybe it's a Democrat, maybe it's a Republican. And you get angry inside and you think, oh, fuck this person. And you go on Twitter and you go on this, ranting rampage to tell this person what a dumbass they are. And in the end, all it does is strengthens the resolve of the other side, who says, look, this is proof that you people are snowflakes. They say, no, you people are snowflakes. And it becomes this big battle of wits. And really, there are very little wits involved. It's about who you can point the finger at and make look bad. And the media just loves it because that's how they get their revenue. Now, I'd just like to finish by saying this. The alternative for people is to do real research. I've seen plenty of people who are interviewed saying things like, people need to do their research, people need to do their research. And then they'll ask, did you read the paper? Did you read this bill? Did you actually, well, no, I didn't read it. I just heard people tell me what it said. That's not research, that's laziness. And over up to half the people say that they get a lot of their news from Facebook. I mean, if you think of Facebook as news, it's the whole problem all over again. Because people are only going to take the time to make an article and share a story when they know it will emotionally charge someone, or when they're going to make some revenue off of it. Unless it's something that a person just wants to talk about because it's on their mind. I mean, like, for example, what I do on YouTube, I just talk about what's on my mind. Not for financial gain or anything like that. But if I, let's say, wanted to talk about these same subjects and I was a member of a news team, there's no way. There's no way. You know, you have to stick to what's going on, the big stories, what we say the big stories are. And so we've got people saying, oh, you watch too much mainstream news, you should listen to this guy. And then you find out that guy gets all his information from mainstream news, and that's just how it works. So I'd like to say this, it's not that the news is fake, it's not that the stories are all lies or made up. It's that they take a story and they run with it and blow it out of proportion, and the people fail to do any adequate research on the subject to say, this is not what's really going on. And then people get called out for, let's say, saying something that's untrue. And they say, oh, you're preventing my free speech. I mean, we're losing it, people. We are actually... the whole of society could be damaged by a few individuals, of course. But when those few individuals influence massive groups of people to fight amongst themselves, you know, and the people buy into it, it's our own fault. That's all I can say. It's not the fault of the media for lying to us. It's our fault as individuals for believing the media. And I hope that makes sense. It's not even that the president says something that's not true. It doesn't matter. By now we know he lies all the time, consistently. So why go on and on about it? Say, okay, here's a liar, I don't believe him, I'm going to move on and I'm going to listen to this person instead. It's really that simple. And so who we decide to interact with, who we decide to listen to, should really be based on their previous, let's just say, their previous truths, but also what they're hoping to accomplish. Always look at the bottom line and say, what does a person have to gain by telling you something? And then look for other angles. It's not just politicians that are lying. It's not just the media that's lying. There are scientific groups who are designed just to find bullshit statistics to lie to you. There are CEOs and corporate entities that their whole job is just to public relations managers, for example, people who do nothing but try to make a company look good amidst a shitty crisis. Like trying to justify why we should bail out the airlines or the cruise industry during a time when there's a pandemic and people need help. Oh, it's all about the market. And the people listen to it and they believe it because it's what they've been told. So maybe this is a rant in a way, but I'm getting awfully... Let's just say I'm losing my faith in the ability for people to rationally get through a lot of the things, a lot of the crisis that we face as a society. And I feel like if we don't act now as individuals, and I'm not talking about being woke, I'm really sick of that term. It means absolutely nothing. Being woke to what? Because some people say it's a spiritual thing, others say, oh, it's that the media is lying. Everything, there's a little component of all of it. It's about weighing all of those different things and saying, this is what we need to understand to get by in our lives. So if your life is simple, you don't need to know the bigger picture of how the inner workings of, say, politics work. That's fine. That's great. That's the life I choose to live. A life where it's simpler and I don't have to focus on the big things. But if I do talk about a subject, or if I'm going to have an opinion on a subject, if I'm going to go protest something, or I'm going to go to a rally for a candidate that I want, I'm going to do my research on those things because I want to know what I'm talking about. And what I've found is that a lot of folks really don't care about the details. Emotion and opinion are now overriding facts and reason. And that is a very dangerous precedent. not president, precedent. When you have a society that has as much information at their fingertips as we do, and fails to use it, it shows that the propaganda is working better than it ever has before. And I know in a lot of cases it's that the people don't have the capacity. In other words, there are a lot of uneducated people out there who really don't know where to look or how to find information about things. And I'll be honest, I have the same problems. I go to a science journal to confirm what somebody said on a medical post, and then I go to that science journal, and then I have to go to another website to confirm whether that science journal is legitimate. And then I have to go to yet another site to see whether that watchdog is legitimate. This is by design. Not purposefully necessarily. Each individual, lie is purposeful, but all put together, people give up on information. They give up on facts, and they resort back to their emotions and feelings. And if you ask a lot of people why they think that this is true or that's true, they say, because I believe so-and-so, and because I feel it's right. Sometimes it is right. But as a whole, we as society have to decide, what's truly fair, honest. And what we have right now, the failed justice system in my country at least, shows that whatever we're doing is not working. And it's an individual responsibility. So, no, CNN or Fox News or NBC or Facebook or Twitter are not news sources. They're just opinions that you have to confirm. And I hope that we can all work together to do better on that. Because I've been wrong plenty of times, working on it in my own time. But I really try not to make a statement unless I know it's true. And when I have been wrong, I know it's painful to be called out on shit, to find out that you were wrong. But to simply humbly say, yeah, you're right, I wasn't aware of that, for some reason people just can't do that. Some people cannot admit a single mistake in their lives. And when the leader of the free world can't admit that he's ever made a failure in his life, then other people follow suit with that. And they say, well, I shouldn't care either. And people just stop caring. So, this isn't, I guess I can't really go much further on this because I could go on forever, but I think I've made the points I needed to make. The media is a joke. And that includes that guy you watch on YouTube, whoever it might be, including myself. So if you're watching any of my videos and I say something, whether it's about plants, politics, fungi, do your damn research and do not believe anything I tell you as fact, because that's how we get ourselves into this mess. But I do my best. Peace.